second, the center fielder, number 8, A.J. Weber.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to McLean Stadium in East Lansing, the Capital Diamond Classic Championship Final, with the Portland Raiders and the Grand Ledge Comets doing battle for the trophy. We are going to swing it over to the PA for starting lineups. We'll be right back. You are listening to the Capital Diamond Classic Championship on OpenEndedMedia.com, presented by the Lansing Herald.
Batting sixth, the designated hitter, number 22, Tyler Smith. Batting seventh, the third baseman, number 3, Gunnar Williams. Batting eighth, the left fielder, number 24, Max Sanborn. Batting ninth, the second baseman, number 11, Levi Novus. And the right fielder, number 10, Keaton McGregor. And the rest of your Portland Raiders. Now for the home team. The Comets from Grand Ledge, coached by Jason Smith. Leading off, playing right field, number 9, Aiden O'Keefe. Batting second, the center fielder, number 4, Drew Buckland. Batting third, the catcher, number 5, Gavin Wajenki. Batting fourth, the designated hitter, number 25, Jaden McCammon. Batting fifth, the shortstop, number 1, Preston Bonet. Batting sixth, the second baseman, number 2, Kyle Smith. Batting seventh, playing first base, number 21, Tyler Terranova. Batting eighth, the third baseman, number 23, Torrey Nyquist. Batting ninth, the left fielder, number 12, Brett Baker. And pitching, number 11, Sam Brown. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you stand, and gentlemen, remove your caps as we honor America and the men and women who serve with the singing of our national anthem.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to McLean Stadium in East Lansing. Michigan State University, the host of the 63rd Dean Shippey Capital Diamond Classic on OpenEndedMedia.com, presented by the Lansing Herald. I'm Colton Wesley, happy to bring you the call tonight. Championship game. Winners going home with a trophy. Grand Ledge Comets, Portland Raiders. And the main story, the Portland Raiders have never been here. The Grand Ledge Comets, this is their 39th finals appearance. Classic royalty taking on the newcomers, and it'll be the newcomers who bat first, with Portland leading off with Barrett Brennan, A.J. Weber, and Evan Thalen due up in this first inning. Middle of the order will be Brody Moore, Hudson Martin, and Tyler Smith, with Gunnar Williams, Max Sanborn, and Levi Novus rounding out 7, 8, and 9. They will be facing Sam Brown, the right-hander senior on this Grand Ledge roster. One of 7 seniors starting for Grand Ledge tonight. It's their last game together. They were bounced from their playoffs before the conclusion of the Classic, so this is it for Grand Ledge. One last hurrah for a very experienced senior class that has seen some things. They went 18-18 last year. This year, 26-10. Trying to win this program's 30th Capital Diamond Classic. Portland will be in the black hats, gray tops, and white pants. Grand Ledge in the blue and gold caps, blue shirts, and white pants. So in steps Barrett Brennan, the right-handed senior. 1 for 4 in this tournament, but has been on base 4 times with a pair of walks. Got hit by a pitch last night. Program leader in being hit by the pitch. First pitch at 7:01 is down for ball 1. Game time temperature 86 degrees, partly cloudy skies. A very warm day in early June in mid-Michigan. That one's hit high in the air to left center. Drew Buckland, the center fielder, over to it. Camps out under it, makes the easy put away. 1 down. A.J. Weber had a great game yesterday. 2 for 4, 3 ribbies. 4 for 8 in this tournament. The first pitch, that's way outside for ball 1. Both teams going to be tested with their pitching depth once again today. They've had to make some difficult decisions over the past few games. In Portland, they've got to play again tomorrow. That one's down and out. 2-0 to Weber. So not easy for either of these teams. But Grand Ledge has a little more incentive to pull out all the stops, as this is the end of their season tonight. The 2-0 is in there, strike 1. Wajanki couldn't hold it, but gets the call in the bottom part of the zone anyway. 2 balls, 1 strike. Infield playing straight up. The pitch way inside. 3-1 to the senior Weber. Here's the 3-1. That's way outside, and Weber is aboard. So in steps Evan Thalen, senior right-hander, playing shortstop today. 2 for 5 on the tournament, has come around to score a couple of times, has been walked 3 times, 2 last night. In Portland's 9-8 thrilling win over Okemos. The pitch, way outside, ball 1. Weber taking a pretty good lead. Brown struggling to find the zone early. 8 pitches, 6 balls. the 1-0. That's below the zone, 2-0. Weber over there on first, taking a decent lead, but might be disincentivized to go. Given Brown struggles to find the zone early, that one's fouled away, 2-1. The box seats are just about full here at McLean Stadium. People still filing into the bleachers as this one gets underway. 2 balls, 1 strike to Evan Thalen. They're going to throw back to first, and a little closer than Weber would have wanted, but he is back in. First throw back over to him. He had taken a sizable lead. Brown looks in, delivers the 2-1, fouled straight back, and now it's an even count. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Evan Thalen. Third man in the order. Barrett Brennan with a fly out. A.J. Weber with a walk, currently on first. The 2-2. That's in there for strike 3. Frozen with the off speed. A great pitch from Brown. Finds his location, and Thalen's back to the dugout. So Brody Moore, the junior catcher, batting in the cleanup role, steps in with a man aboard. 3 for 7 in this classic, 5 ribbies. The pitch, in at the belt, strike 1. Hitters being a lot more patient in the back half of the Classic. In the first half of the Classic, a lot more swinging strikes. Not nearly as many yesterday. There's a swinging strike at 1 down and away. 0-2 to Brody Moore. Moore calls for time. Quick throw back to first. With 2 strikes, the infield playing back just a little bit, especially over there at third where Torrey Nyquist is. Was playing about even with the bag, and now he's back close to the outfield grass. The 0-2, the pitch. Hit in the air to center, coming up to it is Buckland, and he makes the running grab, and the side is retired. We go to the bottom of 1. Portland got a man aboard but couldn't move him. And Grand Ledge will lead off with Aiden O'Keefe, Drew Buckland, and Gavin Woodjenke. You're listening to the Capital Diamond Classic on OpenEndedMedia.com, presented by the Lansing Herald. Good to have you aboard for this championship final of what has been a spectacular Diamond Classic. Great pitching performances all throughout. Drew Tollfree for Lansing Catholic, leading them 12 strikeouts through 5 2/3 in their opener against DeWitt. They were 1 strike away from a complete game no-hitter. Yesterday, we were able to witness Brett Palmer and Braden Andrus go back and forth for Williamston and Grand Ledge. Ultimately, it was the errors that cost Williamston. They lost 3-1 in a game with no earned runs. On the flip side, the bats were hot for Portland and Okemos. Portland led by 4 2 different times. They were up 5 in the top of the third. Okemos came back to tie it in the bottom of the third. Then they scored 4 to go up 9-5 late. Okemos rallied to cut the deficit to 1, but could not find an equalizer. So the Raiders are here. A lot of good bats on this Raiders team, but now they're going to have to trust Barrett Brennan on the bump. His first appearance in this Diamond Classic, right-handed senior. And the Comets lineup he will face looks like this. Aiden O'Keefe, Drew Buckland, and Gavin Wajenki will lead things off. Jaden McCammon, Preston Bonnet, and Kyle Smith make up the middle of the order, with 7, 8, 9, Tyler Terranova, Tori Nyquist, and Brett Baker. Both these teams in fine form, as you would expect from a pair of Classic finalists. Grand Ledge has won 8 of their last 9. Their only loss coming in the districts. While Portland's won 14 of their last 15 games. They will play Williamston, who lost to Grand Ledge last night in the regional semifinal, tomorrow night. So a busy week for Portland, and as we alluded to earlier, that's going to stress their bullpen and their rotation a little bit. So Barrett Brennan, they're hoping to get a lot of innings out of him tonight, efficient innings, get a lot of outs with as few pitches as possible. A good start from him would not only help them in this game, but also tomorrow night, because they have to keep an eye on that as well. Difficult decisions you have to make when you're in your regional semifinal and the Capital Diamond Classic final in the same week, courtesy of all that rain. First pitch to Aiden O'Keefe is fouled away down the third baseline. But 4 days we were rained out. And that's what ultimately pushed this final to tonight. This game was supposed to be played last night per the initial schedule, but all the rain has compressed the schedule significantly. That one is down for ball 1 to O'Keefe. Lefty 1 for 2 last night with a walk. A strikeout, came around to score. Here's the 1-1. Hits that one right up the middle, and it's through the gap and in for a base hit. Levi Novus was ranging over to it but couldn't quite reach it. And O'Keefe is aboard, the leadoff man for the Comets. Drew Buckland, the senior center fielder, 0 for 3 last night, reached on an error. Third base playing in, that's Gunnar Williams. First pitch, fastball on the outside part of the plate for strike 1. We're going to see 2 good catchers tonight as well. Brody Moore and Gavin Wajenki. They can both frame pitches. Both batting early in their respective lineups. That one hit right up the middle. Almost fielded it short. Thalen stopped it but couldn't glove it. I think he was looking ahead to trying to turn a double play, but he couldn't get the ball in his glove. It'll be an infield hit for Buckland depending on how they score it. Looks like that will go in the book as an E6. Francis Jacobs, our official scorer tonight, was kind enough to give me his box scores from earlier in this tournament as part of my preparation, so thank you, Francis. Appreciate it. First pitch, showing bunt, pulls it off. Gavin Wajenki, the senior, 0 for 2 with a sack grounder last night. 1-0 count. First 2 men aboard for the Comets. O'Keefe on a base hit, Buckland on an error. The usually sure-handed Evan Thalen making a mistake at short. Showing bunt, they pull it off, 2-0. See if the Comets can capitalize. And also how this Portland defense can try to recover early. But an early jam here for Barrett Brennan. The 2-0. That is down 3-0 to Wajenki. Hudson Martin playing in a bit over at first. That's allowing Buckland to take a pretty decent lead. The pitch showing bunt, pulls it off, it's inside, and a 4-pitch walk loads the bases. So Jaden McCammon, the designated hitter, batting cleanup, will get his opportunity with nobody out and the bases loaded. Wajanki going to have a seat. Ashton Delaney will come in as the courtesy runner for him in the first. So Delaney will be over at first base. Big opportunity for the Comets. The pitch. Swung on, grounder to second, and it's in and out of the glove. And the runner scores. McCammon is safe, everybody is safe. A pair of first inning errors for the Raiders have cost them dearly. O'Keefe making it 1-0 Comets. And now Chris Treeweiler coming out to have a chat with his infield. Brennan has goaded a pair of playable ground balls that both should have resulted in an out somewhere, but instead the bases remain loaded. No one's out. And the Comets take an early 1-0 lead. Big chance here for Preston Bonnet, the senior. 1 for 3. Strikeout and reached on an error yesterday. Huge opportunity for the lefty. Infield not playing in. They're shifting over towards first to try to play the pull a little bit. But there will be a play at home on a ball in the dirt. The pitch. That's down ball 1. If you're Preston Bonnet, any ball that hits grass is a successful at bat. Give someone an opportunity to score. Bottom of the first. Here's the 0-1. Swung on, grounder to second base. Scooped up, throw to second, got one, and it's in and out of the glove. They were trying to get the relay to first. They will get the out at second, so a fielder's choice will retire McCammon running to second, but Buckland comes in to score. It's 2-0. So an RBI fielder's choice for Preston Bonnet. Raiders finally get an out, but runners at the corners for Kyle Smith. Smith 1 for 3 with a strikeout last night, stepping off Brennan. Again, has induced playable contact from these Grand Ledge hitters, but the infield not doing their jobs right now. Runner's going to go. Bonnet in without a throw to second. And that's a situation where Brody Moore was probably never going to throw that. Trying to keep Gavin Wajanki from advancing home from third. It does take the force off, though. Here's the 1-0 that's high and away to Smith. 2 balls, no strikes. Grand Ledge doing some early damage here in this Capital Diamond Classic Championship, looking for their 30th title in program history. The 2-0. Swung on, grounder, left side of the infield is gloved it short. The throw to first is in wide of everything and into the dugout. Run's going to score. It's in the dugout, so dead ball. Smith's on to second. Bonnet will score. 4-0 Grand Ledge. Smith will be credited with a 1 RBI single, but then he will reach on the throwing error from shortstop. Bonnet also scoring on that throwing error. So 4 runs have scored. The start of nightmares for the Portland Raiders. The pitch. Grounder right side of the infield. Tyler Terranova fielded at second, throw to first, and he's out. It will move the runner Kyle Smith to third. The Raiders don't care. They just got their second out. A rough start for Portland. Three different errors. 4 runs, 1 hit for Grand Ledge. Currently on the scoreboard, the pitch. Inside on Torrey Nyquist. 0 for 2 yesterday. RBI on a sac fly. Wide open stance for Nyquist, but they're playing him straight up, the 1-0. Swung on high in the air to deep left. Max Sanborn camping underneath it and puts away the inning, for which the Raiders will be grateful, but they are in a deep early hole. Grand Ledge 4, Portland nothing, going to the top of the second. You're listening to the Capital Diamond Classic on openendedmedia.com, presented by the Lansing Herald.
Umpiring at first base, Dave Cottrell. Third base umpire, Jake Marino. Handling second, Jim Marino. The boys blue tonight. Thank you, Blue.
The Lansing Herald is Mid-Michigan's family-owned and independent news and information source. Based out of Hazlitt, the Lansing Herald publishes their stories, scores, photos, and more throughout the week. You can read all about it for free on lansingherald.com. Lansing Herald, a longtime supporter of the Capital Diamond Classic. Glenn Dudasick, probably this event's biggest fan. Longtime supporter of this event. A unique event in high school sports. It's not a playoff event. It's not a district regional tournament. You have to be invited to be here. It's a very special thing that we have here in Mid-Michigan. Hudson Martin, Tyler Smith, Gunnar Williams due up for the Raiders in the top of the second as they look to figure things out. They do officially credit Kyle Smith with that hit, by the way, so he was the second man to get a hit for the Comets. So 4 runs on 2 hits for the Comets, 3 errors for Portland in that inning. First pitch to Martin is outside, ball 1. Pair of fielding errors and a throwing error made a lot of difference. That one's in at the bottom of the zone on Martin, 1-1. Sam Brown, a efficient first inning, 15 pitches. Gave up the walk, the 1-1. Threw the bat at it. It rolls to short. Throw to first. Nice and easy, and Martin is retired. Let's meet the Grand Ledge defense, starting in the outfield. Brett Baker, Drew Buckland, and Aiden O'Keefe left to right. Around the horn on the infield, Torrey Nyquist, Preston Bonnet, Kyle Smith, and Tyler Terranova. Sam Brown is pitching to Gavin Wajenki. Tyler Smith, 1 for 7 with 3 strikeouts in this classic. Takes ball 1 low, and that has been his prerogative. He pretty much always takes that first pitch. 1 ball, no strikes. Watches on the outside corner at the belt. 1-1. Infield playing straight up. That one grounded left side of the infield, deep in the hole. Bonnet can't make the play, and it's a single for Tyler Smith. And this Portland offense is potent. We saw them score 4 runs in both the 3rd and the 6th last night against Okemos, so they can definitely bat around. Important to not try to get it all back in one chunk, right? You can't get it all back in one swing. Just keep the line moving, especially as you approach the bottom of the order here. Gunnar Williams now up. Watch us strike one in the outside corner. But as we were saying last night, the bottom of the order has been really impressive for this Portland squad. 9 hits on 15 at-bats for the 7, 8, and 9 hitters in the Portland lineup in their 2 games in the Classic so far. Williams watches outside, 1-1. So a lot to like up and down this Portland batting order. Here's the 1-1. Swung on and missed. Williams swinging right through the fastball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Smith with a tasteful lead off first. Nothing too crazy. That's way outside, 2-2. Wajanki immediately looking down to first, but does not throw. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Max Sanborn in the on-deck circle. 2-2 count to Williams. 1 on, 1 out. Top of the 2nd. They'll throw over to first. He's back well in time. Comets with a 4-run outburst in the bottom of the 1st to take an early lead here. Portland in their first ever Capital Diamond Classic. Trying to shake off the early nerves. The 2-2 is outside to Williams, and he's worked the count full. Important early pitch here for Portland. Full count with a runner on first. The payoff is down. No, it's in there for strike 3 at the knees. Borderline pitch. Williams took it. It was in for strike 3. And in comes Max Sanborn. Started the game last night on the mound, ended the game last night after being pulled. So no decision for Sanborn, but also a save. First pitch is a fastball on the outside part of the plate, strike 1. 2 for 6 in this tournament. The Raiders had to go through several pitchers last night. The 0-1, check swing, down, ball 1. So Thalen, Williams, Sanborn, all unavailable today. So they're really hoping to get as many innings as possible out of Barrett Brennan. But you got to make defensive plays. Help your pitcher out. The 1-1, fastball at the top of the zone, strike 2. Still a lot of baseball to be played. Can't go counting outs just yet. The 1-2. Swung on, grounder, right side of the infield. It's through for a base hit. Smith to second. Sanborn is in with a single. And now the Raiders have 2 on. Levi Nobis, 4 for 6 in this tournament. 2 for 3 last night. Came around to score both times. Nobis is in this role because of his decent bat and his above average speed. He can get around the bases when the top of the order gets up. But now he's got 2 men on, and he's been charged with at least advancing them and getting aboard himself. Shows bunt, pulls it off, strike 1. Nobis has bunted for a hit in each of Portland's first 2 games in this tournament. So you have to respect it even in a 2-out situation. The 0-1 showing bunt, pulls it off. That's outside, 1-1. High school baseball is a unique animal. You will see some strange things that you won't see at any other level of the game. Like showing bunt multiple pitches in a row in a 2-out situation. He sets down the bunt down the third base line, and he is going to beat the throw to first. The throw came off the bag just a little bit. It looked like he wasn't going to make it, but the throw was just a bit wide. Terranova had to come off the bag, Nobis is in with a bunt single for the third game in a row, and all of a sudden, the Raiders have the bases loaded for the top of the order. 2 outs, top of the second. So in steps Barrett Brennan. He's been the leadoff man the whole tournament. Done a good job getting on. Doesn't have an RBI yet. A big hit here would change the calculus of this game immediately. First pitch. Brennan takes it inside, almost hit him. As we mentioned, he is the program leader in being hit by pitches. He ducked out of the way of that one, but in retrospect, he might have wanted to just take that and score the run. 1 ball, no strikes. The pitch. That's way inside. No, it's not. Brennan looking back at the umpire, wondering how on earth that was in the zone. 1-1. The pitch. Watches on the outside part of the plate, 1-2. Wide strike zone here in this second inning. Now Brennan going to be forced to protect. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Brown trying to get out of the jam. Here's the pitch. In the air, popped up. Brown up to it. Makes the play, and the Comets escape. Raiders struggle to get things going early in the inning, but a 2-out rally loads the bases, but they can't cash in. It remains 4-0 going to the bottom of the second. You're listening to the Capital Diamond Classic on openendedmedia.com, presented by the Lansing Herald. The left on base numbers already telling part of the story at least. Portland's left 4 men on in the first 2 innings. Grand Ledge plated 4 and only left 1 stranded. Brennan returns to the mound for his second inning of work, trailing 4-0. Although I'm not sure how many of those will actually be charged to him. Frankly, I doubt any of them will be. One of them got on an error. 2 of them directly scored because of an error. And another one was at least advanced due to an error, so defensive miscues really hurting the Raiders in that first inning. Might just be some first-time finalist nerves. But at the same time, this Grand Ledge team, they haven't been in a final since 2023. So this crew of players would have been sophomores last time they were here. They lost in that 2023 final to Olivet. They haven't won the thing since 2021. 9-1-2 due up for the Comets. Brett Baker will lead things off, followed by Aiden O'Keefe and Drew Buckland. Gunnar Williams playing in at third. First pitch is outside, ball 1 to Baker. I have to hesitate a little bit on some of these calls. The home plate umpire likes to wait sometimes on the borderline pitches. The 1-0. Swung on and drilled on the ground through the right side of the infield. An easy base hit for Baker. Really good swing, and if you're the Comets, you love to see that out of your 9-hitter. A smooth swing, good square contact, right through a gap. Couldn't have hit it any better. That is an ideal hit. Because now you got the top of the order up and a runner you can work with, Aiden O'Keefe. Base hit, came around to score on an error back in the first. That one's outside. 1 ball, no strikes to the senior. Portland already getting somebody warm in that bullpen. Looks like it's... Well, they're going to check on the runner at first. Looks like it's Mason Valier, who got to pitch in yesterday's game, but didn't pitch very much. Didn't even register an out. Only faced a couple of batters. That one's in the dirt to O'Keefe, 2-0. But we also saw Valier warming up for an extended period in that bullpen before he actually came in. So who knows? I doubt that they're planning on pulling Brennan out this early. If he gets into enough trouble, they'll have to think about something. Throw back over to first, back in time pretty easily. But despite how nightmarish that first inning was, not that many pitches. Just 18 pitches for Brennan. Showing bunt, pulling it off is O'Keefe. Count is 2-1. The pitch. Grounder, right side of the infield, fielded at second, flipped to short, and it's over the head of shortstop at second base. The runner taken off for third, the batter taken off for second. Another infield error. Could have been a double play, but the flip was way over the head of Evan Thalen from Levi Nobis. And O'Keefe is on second. This usually sound Portland defense having all kinds of issues here against Grand Ledge in this championship final. Drew Buckland coming up, reached on an error in the first with 2 runners in scoring position and no outs. First one hits him on the back. Bases loaded for Gavin Wajenki. Truly the stuff of nightmares. If you're the Portland Raiders. Yeah, the defense didn't have a single error against Okemos yesterday. But struggling to make routine plays in this championship. Now here comes Gavin Wajenki with a chance to really blow this open. Watch his ball one outside. Infield playing in. Anything that gets to the outfield will plate at least 1, probably 2. The 1 out. Way inside, gets away. They're going to send the runner, and they'll score. Brett Baker in on the wild pitch. O'Keefe to third, Buckland to second. 5-0, Grand Ledge. And there are bubbles. Comets fans celebrating runs with bubbles. I like that. That's pretty neat. A lot of teams will celebrate with bells and horns and whistles, but that's kind of nice. I like that. It's a good little touch. A lot of runs to celebrate for the Comets. 2 balls, no strikes. They lead 5-0 in the bottom of the second. You hate to use that strong a language, but it really has been a defensive implosion for Portland. And Wajenki with a 2-0 count still has 2 runners in scoring position. The pitch. Grounder up the middle, hops into short, fielded, throw to first, they got him, but they will score. Aiden O'Keefe. Sacrifice grounder for Wajenki. Buckland moves to third as well. 6-0 Comets. Jaden McCammon Reached on an error in the first. Going to try to bring in Buckland. That's his job here. Watches ball one high. Infield still playing, and they want to make the play at home if they can. Try to get Buckland the 1-0. In there, strike one on the inside part of the plate. McCammon immediately set his bat down. He knew he wasn't going to go for it. Was sitting on something else entirely. 1 ball, 1 strike to McCammon. Looking for his first hit in this Capital Diamond Classic. Here's the 1-1. In the air to center. Fielded. Runner tags. He's coming home, and he will score. Sacrifice fly out for Jaden McCammon. Drew Buckland's in to score, and the extra point is good. 7-0 Grand Ledge. Preston Bonnet, RBI single in the first, came around to score himself. 2 outs, bottom of the second, first pitch. In the air to right, giving Chase McGregor up to the hill and makes the catch on the incline. That is a tough play to make as a right fielder climbing up the incline, keeping your footing and watching the ball into your glove, but McGregor makes the play. And the side is retired, but add 3 for the Grand Ledge Comets. It's 7-0 going into the top of the third. The Robert Dowden Group at Keller Williams Realty works in a lot of different communities, but the message is always the same. The housing market is hot, complicated, and complex. So what can you do? Work with a real estate professional who is patient, understanding, and dedicated to working with you, not through you. That real estate agent is Mid-Michigan's own Robert Dowding at Keller Williams Realty. If you're buying, selling, or unsure of what to do next, the Robert Dowding Group will take time to help you achieve your next step. Find them on Facebook at the Robert Dowding Group or call them at 517-853-6390. That's 517-853-6390. To the third we go. Comets 7, Raiders nothing. Weber, Thalen, Moore due up for the Raiders. These teams have an equal number of hits. Both of them have 3. Looks like Aiden O'Keefe is not going to be credited with a hit in the second. They're going to say that he reached first on the wild throw that allowed him then, or excuse me, on the fielding error that allowed the runner to go to second. So they're not going to give him the credit for a hit on that at bat, but I don't think he cares. It's 7-0. First pitch to Weber, hits him in the back. Free base. Take him any way you can get him right now if you're Portland. Once again, a big stat. No one left on base for the Comets. They got the bases loaded and then cleared them one at a time. One on a wild pitch, one on a sac grounder, and one on a sac fly. Evan Thalen steps in, struck out looking in the first, watches strike one there. Brody Moore in the on-deck circle. Chris Trewiler had a meeting with his guys outside the dugout. That one grounded to third. Throw to second is in time. They'll at least get the one. Fielder's choice for Thalen, one away. But Trewiler having a conversation with his guys in front of the dugout, trying to settle them down a little bit. They've got 15 outs to make up 7 runs. First pitch to Moore is just above the zone for ball 1. The pitch, and that hits him on the elbow. Back to back. I shouldn't say back to back, but 2 batters hit. Now the Raiders, like they did in the second, got a couple of guys on. Courtesy runner for Moore. Trevor Smith will be in over there at first to run for Moore. So in steps Hudson Martin. Grounded out in the second, 1 for 7 in this tournament. Could use a hit here. First pitch is high, ball 1. The difference in this game is twofold. 1, 4 errors by the Raiders. 2, Grand Ledge has not left anyone on base by comparison. 1 man left on through the first 2 innings. Pulling off the bunt is Martin. It's in there for strike 1, whereas the Raiders have left 4 on. You put those things together and you get a 7-0 ball game. But 2 on for the Raiders, maybe a chance to do some damage here with Hudson Martin. Tyler Smith in the on-deck circle. The 1-1. That's in there for strike 2, a great pitch from Sam Brown. Looked like it was going to be outside, or inside rather, and Martin left it to its own devices. It tailed back in right down the middle of the plate. 1-2 count to Martin. The pitch. Grounder right side of the infield. Fielded in the hole. Throw to first. They got him. Runners advance. Kyle Smith ranging over to make the play. We saw Kyle Smith make a great play last night to probably save a run for Grand Ledge in that win over Williamston. That play a little bit easier, but still pretty deep in the hole over there between first and second, and Martin is retired. 2 away. Runners on second and third for Tyler Smith. Watches a fastball on the outside part of the plate, 0-1. You got to stay sharp if you're Grand Ledge. We talked about this in the second. Portland can score runs quickly. The 0-1. That's way inside. Smith jumping out of the way. Gunnar Williams wants a chance. He's in the on-deck circle. Smith singled in the second. A similar hit here would bring in at least 1, maybe 2. Take a bite out of that lead. The 1-1. Grounder, left side of the infield, charging from third, throw to first, in time by a step. Smith is retired, as is the side, and once again, Portland leaving runners on, given a couple of freebies. 2 batters got hit, but they couldn't do anything with it. They've left 6 men on in total. They haven't played at any. Grand Ledge 7, Portland nothing, going to the bottom of the third with Kyle Smith, Tyler Terranova, and Torrey Nyquist coming up for the Comets. Let's meet this Portland defense. In the outfield, left to right, Max Sanborn, A.J. Weber, Keaton McGregor. On the infield, from third to first, Gunnar Williams, Evan Thalen, Levi Novus, and Hudson Martin. Barrett Brennan with the start, pitching to Brody Moore. That Portland defense will look to clean it up here as this game moves on. Got to limit the damage to give your offense a chance. Already trailing by 7. And you don't want to look up at the scoreboard too much. Don't want to become an army of clock watchers, as it were, but You got to at least be aware that you're running out of outs, given the size of the deficit. You don't want to put yourself in a position where you need to score an absurd number of runs on the 6th and 7th. You got to find a way to get those runners in that you've been getting on in these first few innings. Kyle Smith, RBI single back in the first, was stranded on third. 2 for 4 this tournament. The sun setting off behind third base, casting some shadows on the field. Those will be gone soon enough. Ball one high to Smith. They do the final at 7, at least in part because of how beautiful this park is. On these late spring, early summer evenings, that's a strike on the inside part of the plate. Kyle Smith ducked out of the way of that. It was coming up pretty close to him, but it stayed in the zone. 1 ball, 1 strike. The pitch. That's down 2-1. Infield shifted to the left. The 2-1 grounded left side of the infield through the gap. And he's in with a base hit. Kyle Smith hit it exactly where Gunnar Williams and Evan Thalen both could not get it. Williams playing up a bit, closer to third. Angling in, tried to glove it with that left hand. Just missed it. Evan Thalen trying to back him up. Ranging to his right with the glove on his left hand. Also just missed it. If it had been a foot to the left or a foot to the right, someone would have had a play on it. But perfectly met by Kyle Smith, and he's aboard for the second time today. Here comes Tyler Terranova. Watches ball 1 low. Grand Ledge trying to keep the line moving. The nature of baseball, no lead is technically safe. The 1-0 runner going, and that skips away from Moore. An easy base for Smith. He's going to round second and take another one as Moore has to retreat to the backstop to go get that ball. So Smith's going to go all the way to third on what they might score a passed ball. I think that hit him in the glove behind the plate. I don't think it was off his frame, so I think it would be down as a passed ball. A 2-0 count to Terranova with a runner on third. The pitch. That's down and away, 3-0. Barrett Brennan's only given up 3 hits. Or 4 hits, excuse me. So not an egregious number of hits here for this Comets offense, but the mistakes keep piling up. Here's the 3-0. Fouled away. Comets in their 39th Capital Diamond Classic Finals in school history. A juggernaut in this program. It doesn't even matter how good Grand Ledge is in a certain year. They're always a threat in this tournament. The 3-1. That's down for ball 4. Terranova's aboard. And that's not to say that Grand Ledge isn't good this year. They are plenty good this year. 26 wins coming into tonight. But you can set the record aside when it comes to Grand Ledge in this Classic. They've been so good year in, year out, decade in, decade out. And even with the changing of the guard with Pat O'Keefe retiring a handful of years ago, that has not changed their presence in this event. So runners at the corners for Torrey Nyquist fly out back in the first. Looking for his first hit in the Classic. First pitch, outside, runner going, and no throw from Moore. So Terranova is into second. Now Nyquist has a pair of runners in scoring position. Again, that wide open stance from Nyquist, the 1-0. Check swing, it's down for ball 2. So again, for the third straight inning, multiple runners on with no outs for the Comets. The 2-0. Nyquist, grounder, left side of the infield, past a diving Williams, and another run will score. They're going to put the stop sign on for Terranova at third, but Nyquist has an RBI single. Comets continue to add to this lead. There are more bubbles and another meeting on the mound for the Portland Raiders. And Barrett Brennan is going to get pulled. So a new pitcher in for the Raiders, and Brennan getting his fielding glove. He's going to go in, it looks like, in right field. Looks like Keaton McGregor is going to exit this ball game. Let's see who's on the hill now. Looks like it is going to be Mason Valier. This is such a hard decision to make if you're Chris Treeweiler.
Now pitching for Portland, number 7, Mason Valier.
Because this is a decision you make with so many factors in mind. One, Brennan has given up 5 hits, which, you know, if there weren't 4 errors involved, that number of runs would be significantly smaller, but it hasn't been a great outing for Brennan. But at the same time, you've got a semifinal tomorrow night against Williamston, and you're down 8-0 in the third. You don't want to phone it in, right? This is the first time your team's ever been in the Capital Diamond Classic. You're not just throwing a position player out there, right? This is a real pitcher in Mason Valier, a guy who you trust to get outs. But maybe part of the calculus here is because Brennan was on 44 pitches. You want to keep him below certain pitching thresholds, so maybe you have him for certain dates later in the playoffs, as opposed to having him throw a bunch of pitches today in a game you're already losing by 8. And that's not an easy decision, right? That's tough. You're in 2 different competitions at the same time, both of which are extremely valuable, but you're making decisions based on how the game is going and how, you know, future playoff implications factor in. It's a tough job to be a manager of a Capital Diamond Classic team. Now in steps Brett Baker, a base hit back in the second, came around to score. Both these runners are Brennan's responsibility. Valier came in briefly in yesterday's game against Okemos. Wasn't in for very long. Only saw a couple of batters before they decided to put Max Sanborn back in the game. Runner's going to go to second. And again, no throw. Want to deny Terranova a clean look at home plate. So 2 runners in scoring position now for Baker. 2-0 count. So Valier did not register an out in that performance, but again, did not throw that many pitches either. The 2-0 in the air, in foul territory, behind the dugout, and dropped by a fan. The fans have not been particularly good at catching foul balls at this year's Classic, I will say. We saw a great catch yesterday by a Williamston fan leaning over the top guardrail. But other than that, a lot of balls been hitting the dirt, or at least hitting the metal rather in these grandstands. And of course, you do have to give the foul balls back. The 2-1 is outside 3-1. It is still high school baseball. The baseballs themselves are at a bit of a premium. 3-1 to the lefty Baker. The pitch. And he walked him. So a 5-pitch walk loads the bases for Aiden O'Keefe, who's already up for the 3rd time today. O'Keefe 1 for 2, a hit, reached on an error, came around to score both times. Leadoff hitter in the order with bases loaded, infield in. Watches strike 1 on the outside corner. Toes touching grass for the infield. They'll go on anything that hits the ground. The 0-1, that one through the left side of the infield, in for a base hit. They're going to send the runner from third. The cutoff at the mound. No throw home. 2 runs will score. Terranova's in. Nyquist is in. Baker is at second, O'Keefe at first. And that's a play where infield in is so difficult because you have to play the infield in to try to make a play at home on anything hit soft. But that would have been a liner to short if your infield was in a normal position. But again, you have to play infield in. There's nothing you can do about it. But good contact from O'Keefe, put it where the defense was not. Ball 1 to Drew Buckland, who's reached twice, but is hitless. Got on an error and was hit. Still no outs. Bottom 3, here's the 1-0. And it hit him, 2nd time today. Grand Ledge 10. Portland 0.
Now batting the catcher, number 5, Gavin Wojcicki.
Gavin Wojcicki, a walk and an RBI sac grounder already in this game. So the hit by pitch moves the runners as well. Baker's on third, O'Keefe on second, Buckland on first. So Gavin Wojcicki, I believe this is the 2nd time he's had the bases loaded already. The first pitch hit high in the air to center. A.J. Weber ranging to his right. Runners ready to tag. They will do so. 1 run will score. Baker is in. O'Keefe on to third. Buckland holds at first. Back-to-back sacrifice RBIs for Gavin Wojcicki. He is out. It's the first out of the bottom of the 3rd. Comets 11. Raiders nothing. Jaden McCammon, 0 for 1, reached on an error in the first, had a sac fly himself in the second. Grand Ledge has put up 3 crooked innings in a row, trying to add to the total with runners at the corners. Runner goes, they will not throw down to second. Buckland in easy. Multiple runners at the corners situations so far for Grand Ledge. 3 in this inning alone. Every time they've sent the runner, every time Brody Moore has wisely not made the throw. The 0-1. It's down and away, 1-1. Preston Bonnet in the on-deck circle. Would be the 9th batter this inning. Two arms up in the Portland bullpen now. The 1-1. Fouled away. Long look in. And the pitch from Valier. In the air, foul territory. That will almost reach the bullpen. But in the wide foul territory of the D1 McLean Stadium, there's not enough. Or there's too much room, rather, for Hudson Martin to cover. And McCammon stays alive. Valier deals. In the air to deep left. Max Sanborn back to it, trying to get under it, and does. Runner will tag. Both will advance. One will score. Aiden O'Keefe is in. So back-to-back sacrifice flies for McCammon. He is out, but tally one more for the Comets. They're up a dozen. Buckland on to third. He is the only runner left on base. Preston Bonnet, the 9th hitter in this inning for the Comets. They have officially batted around. They lead 12-0. First pitch to the lefty. Through the left side of the infield, and that will tally another. Buckland scores. Now Kyle Smith will come up for the second time in this inning. The Comets up a baker's dozen. First pitch, Smith lays off, ball one. The 1-0. That's in for strike one. On the bottom part of the plate. The bottom part of the zone, rather, to Smith. Smith is 2 for 2 with an RBI single back in the first. Came around to score in the third, the 1-1. Grounder, left side of the infield. Gloved at third, but stumbling is Williams. He doesn't have a play. I imagine that will be scored an infield hit for Smith. Williams did glove it, but stumbled as he tried to make the play. Now Williams looking at his hand. Looks like he's good to go. He will resume his position at third. Tyler Terranova already scored this inning. Reached on a walk, came all the way around. He's got 2 runners on. One at first, one at second. The pitch, grounder fouled. So there's a new hitter in the game for the Comets. Excuse me, number 3, Owen Schreiner. Is taking over for Terranova here in this second at-bat of the third inning. So it's going to be a new hitter for the Comets. He'll hit that one up the middle and through the gap. It's a base hit. Runner will score. Bonnet is in. Kyle Smith to third. And Owen Schreiner has an RBI single. And the line just keeps moving for the Comets. They are up 2 touchdowns, 14-0. And that's it for Mason Valier. Today's game is brought to you on OpenEndedMedia.com, but Open-Ended Media is not just your home for broadcast sports in mid-Michigan. It is also the home of the best real estate media in the state of Michigan. Interiors, exteriors, 2D floor plans, 3D tours, aerials, videos, the whole 9 yards. Anything you need for your listing as a real estate agent or a homeowner looking to tap into the market, Open-Ended Media can provide for you. Email us, Caleb at OpenEndedMedia.com. Check out our website, OpenEndedMedia.com. So new pitcher in for Portland, it is Deacon Townsend. Our first time seeing him in this Diamond Classic. The righty will step in, sophomore. Mason Valier responsible for both of these runners. Looks like Torrey Nyquist is not going to bat for himself. Jason Smith gonna maybe put some new guys on? No, it will be Nyquist batting for himself, excuse me. Runners at the corners, which means that Nyquist will likely take the first pitch, and Owen Schreiner will run to second. It's happened 3 times already this inning for the Comets, and instead, Deacon Townsend going to look back to first. First pitch, Townsend takes strike 1 at the belt. So maybe Schreiner has been instructed not to run given the situation. That one's high, 1-1 to Nyquist. Raiders just desperately want an out. Get out of this nightmarish 3rd inning. The pitch. That's way inside. 2-1 to Nyquist. Comets 14, Raiders 0. Bottom of the 3rd. Comets have 7 this inning alone, with runners at the corners for Torrey Nyquist. 2-1. Nyquist laces that one foul. He got all of that one. That one, if that had been fair, would have had a chance. Might have been off the wall, but he smoked that baseball. 2-2 count. Nyquist 1 for 2 so far. RBI single earlier in this inning came around to score. Here's the 2-2. That's high, full count. Townsend deals. Runner goes. Hit high in the air to left. Ranging to his left is Max Sanborn. Makes the catch on the foul line. And that's the 3rd out. Grand Ledge 14, Portland nothing. Williams, Sanborn, Nobis due up for the Raiders. We're going to take a break and come back. You are listening to the Capital Diamond Classic Championship on OpenEndedMedia.com, presented by the Lansing Herald. Welcome back to East Lansing. Going into the top of the fourth, Grand Ledge 14, Portland 0. I went to ask what the mercy rule situation was in the Diamond Classic. I didn't know if it was different from a normal regular season game. And it is what you would expect. 15 runs after 4, 10 runs after 5 is the mercy rule. So if the Raiders do not score here and the Comets add one more in the fourth, that would be ball game. If the Raiders keep it within 15 through 4, but are down by 10 at the end of 5, that would be the end of the game. So new pitcher in the game for Grand Ledge. Henry Millbrook, the senior, wearing number 18, is in for the first time. Pitching to Gunnar Williams. First 2 pitches are a ball and a strike. Here's the 1-1. That one's in the dirt, 2-1. Millbrook in his final game with Grand Ledge. Going to get an opportunity to pitch in the Capital Diamond Classic Finals. Sam Brown with an excellent performance for Grand Ledge. No runs on 3 hits. That one's inside, 3-1 to Williams. The pitch. Way outside, ball 4. Williams is aboard. Max Sanborn steps in. 1 for 1, a single back in the second. He's got a runner on, nobody out. 14-0, top of the fourth. The pitch. That's in for strike 1 on the outside part of the plate. Good pitch from Millbrook. On a hazy, warm evening here in East Lansing. Comets trying to put this away. The 0-1. That's down 1-1. Short lead for Williams at first. Now he goes. The throw to second is offline. So no play. Pitch was down. 2-1 to Sanborn, and Williams into second with a stolen base. Takes off the force. Levi Nobis in the on-deck circle. The 2-1. In there, strike 2 at the belt. The 2-2. Grounder, left side of the infield. In and out of the glove at third. Gets through to short, all the way to first. He's safe. Torrey Nyquist, I thought he scooped it over at third, but it got past him. Preston Bonnet at short was backing him up. He made the play. Throw to first to Terranova is just late. And Sanborn will get an infield single, I believe. So Levi Nobis comes up. 2 on, nobody out. Top of the fourth. A chance for Portland to get something on the board. The pitch. Nobis squares to bunt, then pulls it off. Ball 1. So Raiders threatening in the top of the fourth, but they've threatened a couple times before. They've stranded 6 runners already in this game. The 1-0, Nobis shows again. They're throwing to third, and he's in. Stolen base for Gunnar Williams. Down 14, you might as well. Now runners at the corners for Levi Nobis. 2-0. Showing bunt, it's outside, 2-0. Excuse me, 3-0. That was the 2-0. Top of the order. Next for the Raiders, runners at the corners for Levi Nobis. The pitch shows bunt, pulls it off, but it's in there for strike one. Millbrook has not consistently hit the zone. He's throwing some strikes, though. The 3-1. That's outside, and Nobis will walk. That pushes Sanborn to second, bases loaded. For Barrett Brennan, the top of the order. First pitch to Brennan. Down for ball one. Brennan 0 for 2 in this game, a pair of flyouts. One ball, no strikes. The pitch. Way inside, 2-0. Portland with a chance to do some damage. But a big hill to climb. The 2-0. Grounder, left side of the infield, fielded at third. Throw to second, they get one. Trying to turn two, and they do. They go around the horn the way God intended. Gunnar Williams will score, but Brennan grounds out into a double play. We will get the RBI. 14-1. Raiders on the board, 2 away. In steps A.J. Weber. A walk and hit by the pitch. The pitch. And takes his base. Got hit again. So Sanborn is standing on third. Nobis was out on the double play. Weber is now at first. So runners at the corners for Evan Thalen. First pitch. Hits him. Bases loaded for Brody Moore. Back-to-back hit by pitches. First pitch. Hit by pitches for Henry Millbrook. Nobody getting warm for Grand Ledge, and it doesn't look like Jason Smith is going to have a talk with his pitcher just yet. Or maybe he is. Yes, he is. Never mind. He's coming out of the dugout now. So going to have a chat with Millbrook. Comets 14, Raiders 1, top of the fourth. The Lansing Herald is your home for local news coverage. LansingHerald.com, updated every week throughout the week with stories, scores, photos, and more. Mid-Michigan's family-owned and independent news and information source based out of Hazlitt. Read all about it for free. LansingHerald.com. So bases loaded for Brody Moore. Fly out, hit by pitch. First pitch to Moore is inside, ball one. The 1-0. That's inside, ball two. Millbrook struggling with his control a bit here as the fourth inning wears on. Got a big lead to work with, but bases loaded. Go throw back to second. Not in time. Big lead out there from A.J. Weber. Didn't think Millbrook was going to be throwing back there. Kyle Smith came charging in. The pitch. High, 3-0. Moore will be taking the 3-0, no doubt, as a ball would score a run. Millbrook deals. That's in, strike one. Take some of the pressure off if you're Millbrook, knowing that batter's probably not going to swing. Just put something in the zone in that 3-0 situation. The 3-1. That is inside, ball 4. Run will score. Sanborn comes around. Weber to third. Thalen to second. Now here comes Hudson Martin with the bases loaded again. Courtesy runner for Moore. Trying to see who it is. It looks like it's going to be... Trevor Smith again, as it was back in the third. Not sure. Ball 1 to Hudson Martin high. A big hit here all of a sudden makes this much more interesting. That's way inside. 2-0 on Martin. That's the thing with baseball is... You could be down by 12 runs, but you know there are a lot of situations where it is over, but with bases loaded, with this many outs to go, the 2-0, that's inside. And a pitcher who's struggling with his control, too, in Henry Millbrook. Sam Brown had been dealing. Threw 50 pitches through the first 3 innings. They put in Millbrook here for the 4th. He's not been throwing strikes. That one is high, ball 4. Another run's going to score. I don't think Grand Ledge fans are getting nervous yet, but bases are loaded now, and that might be the end of Millbrook's night. 14-3. Portland's kicked a field goal. They've cut the lead to 11, and they will take the ball from Millbrook. Millbrook getting a round of applause from the Grand Ledge faithful. Let's see who Jason Smith's got coming in here. I believe that is Michael Boss, number 17. Yes, number 17. So new pitcher in for the Comets, going to get warmed up here. The Robert Dowden Group at Keller Williams Realty spends a lot of time working in different communities, but the message is always the same. The housing market is hot, it's complicated, and it's complex. So what can you do? Work with a real estate agent who is patient, understanding, and dedicated to working with you, not through you. That real estate agent is Mid-Michigan's own Robert Dowding at Keller Williams Realty. If you're buying, selling, or unsure of what to do next, the Robert Dowden Group will take the time to help you achieve your next step. Find them on Facebook at the Robert Dowden Group or call them 517-853-6390. That's 517-853-6390.
Now pitching for Grand Ledge, number 17, Michael Boss.
So Michael Boss into the game for the Comets. Finishing up his warm-ups. Comets 14, Raiders 3. in the top of the fourth. The Raiders are threatening here. And you don't want to be too... You don't want to be too dramatic one way or the other, but the Raiders can string a couple hits together. They can be within meaningful striking distance of the Comets. First pitch to Tyler Smith is outside for ball one. The 1-0. Ooh, swung at a fastball down the middle. Strike one. Michael Boss came in with the heat on that one. You can see in his warm-up pitches that he has pretty good velo. Here's the 1-1. That's way outside. 2-1. Good work by Gavin Wojcicki to track that one down. Here's the 2-1. That's inside. 3 balls, 1 strike to Tyler Smith. The 3-1. That's down, ball 4. And a run's gonna score. Back-to-back-to-back walks. Thalen comes in. Moore to third. Martin to second. It's a 10-run ball game with the bases still loaded for Gunnar Williams. 2 outs here, top of the fourth. First pitch to Williams is down for ball 1. These Comets relievers don't figure out some control. Like, again, it is a 10-run ball game. I don't want to overstate the point, but with the bases loaded here, there's something. The 1-0, that one's in there at the top part of the zone, 1-1. Now, obviously, all of that, fizzles to some extent if Gunnar Williams goes down here, but there's some hope yet for the Raiders. The 1-1, that's in at the knees, strike 2. Williams doesn't like the call. Now Boss is 1 strike away from getting out of this. The 1-2. That's down, 2-2. Max Sanborn, 2 for 2 already today. He's in the on-deck circle, hoping he gets a shot. Try to keep this moving for the Raiders. Here's the 2-2. Swung on, grounder to short. Flip to second. They got him. Inning over. So Portland scores 4. They've certainly made it more interesting, but they once again leave 3 guys on base, and they are still down 10. There is still a lot to do if you want back in this game. You're the Raiders, but it's gotten a little bit easier, and crucially, Sam Brown's not in the game anymore. Starter who had been pitching quite well, but at the same time, now you absolutely must score in the top of the 5th. Because if you're down by 10, and we reach the middle of the 5th, that's ball game. Game's over. So they will be under some pressure to score in the top of the 5th to even give themselves a shot. And, of course, if the Comets score 5 in the bottom of the 4th, which, they scored 7 in the last inning. They've scored at least 3 every inning in this game. So I'm not going to put it past them, not at all. That would also just end the game. So here we go, 4th inning. Brett Baker, Aiden O'Keefe, Drew Buckland due up. First pitch to the lefty, swings and misses. Here's the 0-1. That's away, 1-1. Still the sophomore Deacon Townsend in the game for Portland. Finished off the third inning. The 1-1. Fouled away, 1-2. The 1-2. Inside, 2-2. Not a lot of strikeouts in this game. Pitchers have been struggling to put guys away. That one's outside. Full count to Brett Baker. Infield playing him straight up. The payoff. High. Walked him.
Now batting for the Comets, the right fielder, number 9, Aiden O'Keefe.
Aiden O'Keefe has reached all 3 of his plate appearances so far. Base hit, reached on an error, another base hit, that one a 2 RBI single. He's come around to score all 3 times. So busy night for O'Keefe so far on the base paths. He's got a man aboard. First pitch, outside, ball 1. Long look in for Townsend. The pitch, outside, 2-0. Baker on first after a leadoff walk. Infield shifted to the left. Here's the 2-0. Away, 3-0 to O'Keefe. Portland doesn't have anybody up in the bullpen. Again, they're trying to manage their arms as well for their regional semifinal tomorrow against Williamston. Here's the 3-0. That's outside, ball 4. 4-pitch walk. O'Keefe is aboard. Baker on to second. And now Treeweiler coming out to have a chat with Townsend. And he's going to take the ball from him. So Townsend walks the first 2 batters of the 4th after getting the last out of the 3rd. And it looks like we're going to get a new arm in the game for Portland. And it might be Connor Fox. I think that's Connor Fox entering. It is Connor Fox, righty. He will come in with 2 runners on here in the 4th. Open-Ended Media is not just the home of the best real estate media in the state of Michigan. It is also the home of your team, event, or tournament. Live on the air. A full-service broadcast production company in mid-Michigan for you. We are the official broadcast production partner of not only the Capital Diamond Classic, as you've heard for the past couple of weeks, Detroit Mechanics Ultimate Frisbee, Michigan State Women's Hockey just down the road at Munn Ice Arena. We'll be back there this winter. And also Red Cedar FC Semi-Professional Men's Soccer. If you are looking for a broadcast partner for your team, whether it's a simple single microphone live radio stream like this one or a full production 3-camera replay graphics, whole shebang operation for your event, your team, your tournament, let us know. Email us, caleb@openendedmedia.com. Check out our work at openendedmedia.com. So Drew Buckland steps in with a runner on first and a runner on second. Comets up by 10. Remember, if they go up by 15 this inning, they just win the game outright. The pitch. That's in for strike one on the outside part of the plate to Buckland. He's been on base 3 times, doesn't have a hit. Reached on error, then got hit back-to-back at bats. I don't think he cares too much. He came around to score all 3 of those times. The 0-1. Grounder right up the middle. Gloved on the mound, the throw to first, they got him. He advances the runners. But a good play by Connor Fox to retire his first batter. In steps Gavin Wajenki. A walk, an RBI sac grounder, an RBI sac fly. Still doesn't have a hit in this tournament. It has 3 runs batted in. Hits this one high into center, and I think he's about to get his 4th. A.J. Weber comes up, and he missed it. Weber couldn't keep it. 1 run will score. It'll be a base hit into deep center for Gavin Wajenki. Baker scores. O'Keefe to third. 15-4 Comets. 1 away. And the put-away run is on deck. Here comes Jaden McCammon. Also has a pair of sac RBIs, both fly balls, reached on error in the first. So no hits for McCammon in this event, but it's not to say he hasn't had his fair share of success. He's got runners at the corners. And he gets hit on the very first pitch. Bases loaded. The put-away run is at the dish. Preston Bonnet. Theoretically, a grand slam here would just end the game. That'd be some walk-off for the senior. Jason Smith coming out to, I believe, get a courtesy runner in for Wajenki. I think that's going to be Ashton Delaney coming in for him, as he did back in the first. Wajenki getting a round of applause from the Comets fans as he exits. He's had a good day. He's had a good tournament. So let's see what let's see what Bonnet can do. Takes the first one low. 1-0. Watches strike one on the outside part of the plate. Now remember, the Raiders also will, to keep this game going, need to get it back within single digits. If they are down by 10 or more at the middle of the 5th, that's the end of the game. The 1-1. Grounder, left side of the infield, scooped up, the throw home. They get the force. So a fielder's choice will retire O'Keefe, 2 away. Wajenki to third, McCammon to second. In steps Kyle Smith. He's 3 for 3. All singles. Scored in the third. Had an RBI in the first. Temperature's starting to drop a little bit here, but still above 80. Kyle Smith watches strike one on the outside part of the plate. Connor Fox trying to give his team a chance to at least keep the game going. Kyle Smith trying to pad the lead. The pitch. Grounder to short. Scooped up. Throw to first. They got him. So Grand Ledge, for the first time tonight, will strand a bunch of runners. They only get one in that inning off of their one hit. Efficient work from Connor Fox. Only threw 9 pitches in those to those 5 batters, but was able to coax 3 outs. We'll go to the top of the 5th. Portland 4, Grand Ledge 15. Portland need 2 runs to keep this game going. The Capital Diamond Classic Championship Final. Want to once again thank all of our amazing sponsors who made this happen. The Lansing Herald, our presenting sponsor, all tournament long. Read all about it at lansingherald.com. And the Robert Dowden Group at Keller Williams Realty. Find them on Facebook at the Robert Dowden Group or call them 517-853-6390, 517-853-6390. Comets trying to make this the last half inning of the Capital Diamond Classic. If they lead by 10 or more, after 3 more outs, it will be. Looks like Michael Boss is no longer on the bump for Grand Ledge. Looks like it's going to be Kyle Smith moving into pitch now for Grand Ledge. They try to get this game over with. Smith was at second, and now it's going to be Preston Bonnet moving over to second. And Owen Schreiner to short. All right, so Schreiner at short, Bonnet at second. Kyle Smith is going to pitch. Going to try to finish this thing for the Comets. Sanborn, Nobis, Brennan, 8-9-1 in the order for the Raiders. They need to score at least 2. First pitch from Smith. Right down the middle, a fastball, strike 1. Sanborn 2 for 2 today. 4 for 10 in this classic. The 0-1. Inside 1-1. The 1-1. That's in for strike 2 on the outside part of the plate. The 1-2, fouled away. Sanborn's only struck out once so far this tournament. Smith trying to make it 2. Here's the 1-2. Grounder, left side of the infield. Gloved by Nyquist, throw in time, 1 down. Comets 2 outs away, leading 15-4. And now Jason Smith out to have a conversation. Looks like they're changing catchers. Gavin Wajenki, the senior, is going to go have a seat, and he's going to get a standing ovation as he deserves. He's been an excellent catcher for the Comets these last years. He deserves his ovation as he ends his career. Easton Cochran, another senior, going to get a chance here to finish out his career at the Capital Diamond Classic. Pair of senior catchers. And this Grand Ledge team stocked with seniors. Preston Bonnet, Kyle Smith, Owen Schreiner, Drew Buckland, Gavin Wajanki, Easton Cochran, Braden Andrus, Aiden O'Keefe. I mean, this is a who's who of who's been impactful for the Comets, as well as Sam Brown, Henry Millbrook, Torrey Nyquist. We've seen every single one of these seniors in action today. First pitch with Novus showing, but takes it off, fouls it straight back. 0-1. Comets didn't go as far in the playoffs as they wanted, but this will be a really nice way to cap off their seniors' careers, assuming they can close the deal here. Here's the 0-1. That's down 1-1. Good block by Cochran to keep it in front of him. Barrett Brennan due up after Novus. The 1-1 from Smith. That's in for strike 2 on the outside part of the plate. The 1-2. Grounder through the right side of the infield. Novus is aboard. Levi Novus has had an outstanding Diamond Classic. 6 for 8. A pair of walks. He's scored 3 times. Just an outstanding run for him. For these Portland Raiders. And here comes Barrett Brennan. That ball's in the dirt. Good stop by Cochran. 1-0. The force still on at second. Wouldn't be surprising at all if they sent him here. The 1-0. Swing and a miss at a pitch that was down in the zone. 1-1 to the senior Barrett Brennan. Raiders will get to play in the regional semifinal tomorrow against Williamston. For the Comets, this is it. The 1-1. That's down 2-1. Well, maybe that ability to just focus on the Classic, not have to think about playoffs and having to balance that with pitchers and fatigue levels. Maybe that played a part, but Comets have been dominant in this one, especially the bats. That's in there for strike 2 on the outside part of the plate. 2-2 to Brennan. Sam Brown had a very good start. 3 scoreless innings for the Comets. In line for the win. The 2-2. Liner into center. It's a base hit. So Brennan keeps the line moving. Novus on to second. If Brennan and Novus both come around to score, that will force Grand Ledge to bat in the bottom of the 5th. In steps A.J. Weber. A walk. He's been hit by the pitch twice. That one's into the knees, strike 1. Smith doing a good job finding the zone. Ahead in the count here, 0-1, 1 away. The pitch. Swing and a miss. That's a good off speed at the bottom of the zone. Weber reaches out for it, can't get to it. 0-2. Runners on first and second for the Raiders. They trail 15-4 in the top of the fifth. Weber has to protect now. Here's the 0-2. Grounder softly tapped to the mound. Throw to first. That's 2 down. One more out for the Grand Ledge Comets. Here comes Evan Thalen. Struck out looking. Base hit and a walk. Excuse me, base hit and hit by a pitch. Came around to score back in the fourth. Runners on second and third. First pitch. Thalen hits this on a line into center, coming up to it, making the grab. And that's your ball game. Drew Buckland retires the final batter. The gloves and the hats being thrown in the air. The Comets are Capital Diamond Classic champions for the 30th time in program history. A dominant performance from Grand Ledge against a really strong Portland team, but they batted around. Too many mistakes from the Raiders early, and the Comets made them pay for them, and they are once again Capital Diamond Classic champions. I have been informed by the folks over in the PA box that Braden Andrus has been named MVP of the tournament after that stellar start yesterday against Williamston. Propelled Grand Ledge into this game. He's going to be Capital Diamond Classic MVP. And the Grand Ledge Comets, once again, for the 30th time, Capital Diamond Classic champions. Thank you so much for joining us for the last 2 weeks here on OpenEndedMedia.com for the Capital Diamond Classic. We'll be back in the fall with more live sports, video coverage, MHSAA football. Hoping to have a full slate of that, so stick with us on our social media pages to keep up with where we're going to be come this fall. Once again, your final score, Grand Ledge 15, Portland 4. The Comets are Capital Diamond Classic champions. Once again, thank you so much for joining us here on OpenEndedMedia.com. Thank you to our sponsors, the Lansing Herald and the Robert Dowden Group at Keller Williams Realty. For all of us at Open Ended Media, I'm Colton Wesley. We'll see you next time. The Grand Ledge Comets, Capital Diamond Classic champions. You've been listening to the Capital Diamond Classic on OpenEndedMedia.com, presented by the Lansing Herald.